What will be some of the best crypto investments for the 2020s and what will still be relevant in the year 2030? And I know it may seem like a long time off, but if we are actually serious about being long-term investors into cryptocurrencies, then this is exactly what we should be considering. What has actually got staying power? What has the ability to last the years and to not just survive, but to thrive? Well, that is exactly what this video is going to explore. And yes, I know, inevitably when I make such a video, half of the comments are going to be, but Lark, what about my coin? I'm sure your coin is lovely too. We're not talking about that coin today, so sorry, but I'm sure it's very, very nice. Furthermore, I do own some of the coins that I will be discussing here, but not all of them. Now, this video also contains no sponsored spots. These are just my opinions on what I think will be relevant in 10 years. And yes, this is obviously an attempt to manipulate the markets 10 years out by pumping my bags. Anyway, in fact, the entire premise of this video is wildly speculative. And to be clear, this video is also not about coins that are going to have the most insane X's going forward. This video is about what coins are likely to still be relevant in 2030. Who can still be a strong market player? Yes, of course, you can go out and find some small cap gem with $1 million market cap that's going to do 1,000x gain. They're out there. Go find them. They're there. They exist. But that is not the topic of this video. No. Also, I'll provide some short overviews on the coins mentioned, but of course, this is just the super basics of any of this stuff. Obviously, none of this should serve as your total due diligence before buying a coin and running out and holding on to it for 10 years. You have got to DYOR as always. But maybe this video will serve to spark some little bit of interest in some of these different coins that I'll be discussing today. So anyway, without any more ramblings from me, let's just get into this. The first one I want to discuss with you is Monero. Monero! Damn, you know, the more that I learn about Monero, the more I like it. I really believe it is the best privacy coin out there. I mean, it's got amazing technology. Stealth addresses add additional privacy. Randomly generated one-time use addresses are created for each transaction. You have ring signatures. Now, ring signatures enable the sender to be able to conceal their identity from other participants in the network, so people basically can't see who you are and what you're doing. You have ring confidential transactions, or ring CT. This enables hiding the amount that is sent in each transaction, among other various technological innovations that Monero devs have pushed forward to keep your money private as heck. Now, even though Monero is my favorite privacy coin, we cannot ignore the value that Zcash has brought to crypto land. ZK snarks have become very prolific as a privacy option adopted by different blockchains. We've seen quite a few different blockchains like Tron or Ethereum adopting ZK snarks technology. But what I'm not going to include in this list, Mimblewimble coins, because they're still so early in their development that their future at this point, in my opinion, remains very, very uncertain. And I say this as a bag holder of Beam, which is a Mimblewimble coin. I would love to see that bag pump, but I truly believe that Monero is a leader in the privacy scene and will remain a leader in the privacy scene. Now, are there threats to the future success of Monero? You bet there are. Government crackdowns and delistings are already a problem for Monero and other privacy coins. Those threats will probably only grow with time. Monero does not have an easy road ahead of it, but this dark web darling has actually found a very strong community outside of just the netherworlds of the internet. People who are just freedom-loving people who appreciate their privacy. Those people are the ones who are going to carry the Monero community forward. And if you love privacy, you should probably consider having a little bit of Monero in your portfolio. Okay, the next one on the list is Binance, the BNB token. Now look, Binance is a love it or hate it kind of exchange. Personally, I am a huge fan of Binance, and I've had nothing but good experiences with Binance. And they have built some amazing products that people want and that people use and that are useful. Binance has proven to be an absolute leader in terms of driving market trends. Binance is quickly becoming the one-stop shop for all things crypto as well. I mean, they now offer staking and lending and futures and, of course, regular trading as well. IEOs, they have a DEX, they've got a native chain that has loads of different assets running on top of it now. All of those things that I just mentioned require BNB. So exclusive access to IEOs is for BNB holders. Fee reductions across the board when trading on the futures or the spot markets, that requires BNB to get fee reductions. Paying gas on the Binance chain, and increasingly BNB is even accepted as a form of payment in of itself. The BNB token also undergoes a quarterly burn. So far, nearly 8% of the tokens have been permanently removed from circulation. While there is certainly a lot of room for competitors to come in and challenge Binance, you have to admit that Binance has made a very, very big impact on the crypto markets, and I believe that will continue into the coming decade. Also, I have two honorable mentions here on the list when we're talking about exchange tokens. One of those is Nash. Now, Nash has done a lot in terms of building a token model that's attractive to investors by offering substantial rewards for locking up the token for 2 years, getting a large percent of the fees from the platform back, as well as a product built to last the ages in terms of compliance and all these different things. But the current state of the exchange is little more than really an MVP. It doesn't even have Bitcoin trading yet, so the future success of Nash is less certain than that of Binance, but it's definitely one that I think has potential. And the other is Crypto.com. I have become a huge fan of Crypto.com and think that their products are really fantastic, to be honest. I mean, their debit card is awesome. Their lending rates are super, super competitive. The app itself is very user-friendly and is really an excellent way to get out and to buy and to sell crypto really, really easily. And they have just launched a traditional kind of style spot exchange as well. So really, they're trying to be more and more competitive. And at the center of all this is the MCO and the CRO tokens, both of which stand to gain from the long-term success of the Crypto.com brand. And if any exchange is going to give Binance a big run for its money long-term, I would bet that it's going to be Crypto.com. Okay, the next one up for you is Engine. And I know, I have discussed the topic quite a few times of gaming, but seriously, gaming is going to become a massive, massive use case for cryptocurrencies. And of all the gaming coins, I think that Engine has the best chance for long-term success. Engine is working with Unity, which is a dominant player in the game development arena. Unity are the creators of the world's most widely used real-time development platform. Games and experiences made with Unity, listen to this, this is crazy, have reached more than 3 billion devices worldwide. Wowzers, that is a lot. And they have been installed more than 24 billion times in the last 12 months. Of course, across a wide range of games, obviously, but still very, very big deal. Engine also has a fantastic wallet and is definitely a strong contributor to the Ethereum ecosystem, having released a block explorer for Ethereum and developed a new token standard, the ERC1155. Engine's non-fungible tokens will be revolutionizing in a big way how people play games and how they transfer value within those games by increasing the revenue for developers, by preventing fraud of assets, and by allowing people for really a greater ability to regulate those in-game economies and the third-party virtual item marketplaces. The engine token itself is based on a model I think that is really primed for long-term price appreciation, since the token itself is forged into the assets, making the token increasingly rare over time as they get kind of baked into these in-game items. An honorable mention here too is Cocos BCX. Now the Cocos engine, for those of you not familiar, is one of the most prolific gaming engines in the world. Their blockchain initiative is certainly not one to just be casually ignored, considering they are such a big player, although it has received a lot less media attention compared to some other platforms. Now moving on to our next coin. And this one comes from the decentralized finance space. And of course, it has to be the classic Maker. Maker is the current king of decentralized finance. Maker, of course, if you're not familiar, gives you the ability to make a dollar-valued loan paid out in a stablecoin collateralized by cryptocurrency called DAI. So you put up your Ethereum and now actually an expanding range of other Ethereum-based assets as collateral. This means that you retain the underlying asset. So if you don't want to sell your Ethereum, you don't have to. You can put it up as collateral for a loan and you get cash. You don't lose your crypto. And all of that is done. Decentralized loans done without a credit score, without an ID, without judgment, without geographic restriction, and without being told no by a damn banker. Permissionless, decentralized finance. Massive. Maker was one of the first really big steps into this new wave of technological advancements that are going to be such a major catalyst for the coming financial revolution. Of course, we're talking about decentralized finance here. The token itself for Maker is deflationary, with small fees paid based on the amount and the duration of debt taken. This fee can only be paid in Maker. The Maker paid as fees is then burned, meaning that the token Maker will appreciate over time. They've also introduced things like the DAI savings rate. So this allows you to lock up your DAI, which again is that stable coin, and to earn an annual interest rate, currently around 4%. And to take this whole Maker experience to the next level from the slightly less user-friendly Maker interface, we are now seeing some really big advancements. OKX, their marketplace, has just announced that account holders, which are in the millions by the way, can now deposit DAI and earn interest, meaning there's an integration between Maker and an exchange, and that will definitely grow over time. Some honorable mentions here too are Synthetics, which issues a wide range of synthetic assets and has a very interesting reward system, and Kava, which is kind of shaping up to be like a multi-chain Maker sort of ecosystem. Now the next coin I want to discuss with you is the Basic Attention Token, BAT. BAT is the oil of the Brave browser experience. The Brave browser itself has been getting massive amounts of adoption. There are now more than 10 million monthly users of the Brave browser. More than 350,000 Brave verified publishers. People like me, right? Content creators on YouTube or on Twitter. Which means that those content creators can now receive tips in BAT, and they can receive BAT based on the view time from users. BAT also has 221,910 addresses holding the token, which for a token is absolutely massive. Also, users in select countries are able to opt in for Brave ads, so they can get paid to see ads if and only if they want to. Otherwise, you never see any ads on Brave, which is pretty gosh darn awesome, to be honest. Also, as a sweet bonus, Brave has Brendan Eich, the inventor of JavaScript and the co-founder of Mozilla, so he's kind of a big deal when it comes down to it, and he is the guy pushing all of this forward. He is the CEO. The Basic Attention Token, I believe, has real long-term potential to grow with the platform. Brave has managed to create an ecosystem of active users who really use the coin. They're giving it to content creators, they're receiving it for ads, they can cash it out easily if they want to, or they can do whatever they want with it, spend it online if they want. That is something that many cryptocurrencies have failed to do. Brave has created an ecosystem around the basic attention token. It's useful. People like it. By the way, there's a link down below. If you have not tried Brave yet, I highly recommend it to you. I know it's a bit of an adoption curve to go and change browsers, but personally I've been using it for ages, and literally I could not imagine going back to something like Chrome. So if you haven't tried Brave, you really need to check it out. Now the next coin on our list is Chainlink. Chainlink solved a big problem, which is that smart contracts are actually pretty dumb when it comes down to it, unless they are connected to real-world data events and payments. This is where Chainlink steps in by providing reliable, tamper-proof inputs and outputs for complex smart contracts on any blockchain. Massive interoperability potential here with Chainlink, even though it's quite dedicated to the Ethereum ecosystem. Chainlink is really essential middleware for connecting the off-chain world with the on-chain world. Chainlink is a network of decentralized oracles which evaluate the same data across multiple links before triggering a smart contract. This, of course, erases the problem of centralized oracles, which you cannot necessarily trust the data feeds from, and of course are a single point of failure. Chainlink also has some just insane partners like Swift and Oracle and Google and almost every major blockchain out there, as well as an ever-growing list of lesser known but also highly valuable corporate partners. Next up, we have Cardano. Oh, Cardano, my personal pick for the top player to take a big share of the market from Ethereum in the coming years is definitely got to be Cardano. And to be clear, I'm invested in Cardano, but also in some of the other competitors that might take some market share from Ethereum over time. But Cardano is definitely one of my biggest bags. Why? Because I think that Cardano is something that is being built to last the ages, that it has the vision to be truly impactful. It is being built in the early days of the blockchain tech revolution with the intention of being a major platform over time. And yes, we are still early in blockchain overall, so you have to keep that in mind. The peer-reviewed process which Cardano uses, yeah, it can be painfully slow at times, but long-term, the results of such a method could be incredibly beneficial. And with the staking going live on the testnet, and then of course soon on the mainnet after that, we can really see Cardano starting to come together. And I think that the coming years are likely going to see a lot of excitement build around Cardano, and that we'll see a very strong competitive ecosystem coming to Cardano. And while I personally think that Cardano has the most potential to be a game changer long-term for the entire cryptocurrency economy, yes, there are loads of highly qualified teams out there developing awesome smart contract platforms. There's Constellation and Elastos and Tezos and Phantom and Harmony and Elrond and Nexus and VeChain and EOS and Stellar and Neo and Ontology and Nem and Quantum and Icon and Zilliq and Enigma and like 50 others. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Why is there so many? It's crazy. They're all very interesting. They're all valuable. They all have something to offer, but they're not all going to win. And that's, I think, something that's really important, right? Because the futures of these are just not definitive. Although they might have their unique innovations, very dedicated teams, any of these could moon hard. They really could. Any of these could rise to very prominent positions in the overall market cap dominance and market share of products. But I do believe that some of these will definitely maintain long-term success, but others are going to just become totally freaking irrelevant. And I have money in a few of the coins that I mentioned above, and even in a few of those that, to be honest, at this point, I have some serious doubts about their future. But the one that I don't have serious doubts about, that's Cardano. More than any of the others, I think that Cardano has the ability to have that staying power and is being built for long-term success. Okay, next up. Only two more to go. The next one, of course, is Ethereum. The more that I learn about Ethereum, the more I spend in that ecosystem, the more I like it. Ethereum is an absolute beast. Ethereum will have probably the most value stored on chain over time. We're talking like bonds and real estate and all that fun kind of stuff. It has a massive network effect. Ethereum is working with some of the biggest corporations in the world, even having companies like Ernst & Young deploy game-changing developments specifically for Ethereum. That is their Nightfall, which I'm talking about, which, helps take the protocol to the next level and make it easier for businesses to build on and to use Ethereum. Ethereum also has 4 times the amount of developers of any other cryptocurrency. In fact, the vast majority of the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem lives on Ethereum. That's wild. By 2030, we will have an Ethereum with sharding enabled, which will make it so that you can have thousands of transactions per second. And that is in addition to all the other stuff going on to make Ethereum more useful in terms of transactions. We have like ZK rollups and layer 2 solutions like Matic, which are going to make Ethereum massively scalable, especially for small transactions. Ethereum is also moving to WebAssembly, which will allow for faster execution speed, improved support for hardware, and really to be able to reach a wider audience of developers, since the WebAssembly is really built for web applications. And then there's staking. This is going to greatly increase the amount of stakeholders on the platform, right? People's incentives to hold Ethereum and create really just a huge ecosystem of people out there who are going to be earning annual rewards and want to get Ethereum to earn those rewards. That will drastically change the economics of Ethereum long term. And so instead of miners just constantly dumping on the market, people will be incentivized to save and to hold Ethereum and potentially even to reinvest the rewards that they get back. And Ethereum, it's everywhere these days. HTC and Samsung and Opera, they all have Ethereum wallets included in their new generations. Even Fidelity Digital Assets is rumored to start offering Ethereum to clients soon. Betting against Ethereum, for me, it's like betting against the future of the entire cryptocurrency economy. And finally, the number one coin that will go the distance, that will thrive in the year 2030, is the one that we all knew it had to be. The coin which really needs no introduction. Dogecoin. Woof, woof, woof. Doge. Okay, but seriously. Of course it's Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin. Of course it's Bitcoin. Come on, Lark. Bitcoin is the steady survivor. Bitcoin is like a tank. It just can't be stopped. It's kind of slow, but it's also secure and indestructible, right? Bitcoin has become a cultural phenomenon in of itself. I mean, if normies know anything about crypto, you know what they know? They know the name Bitcoin. That's what they know. Bitcoin has been the best asset of this decade. Probably going to be the best asset of the next decade as well. Bitcoin is by and afar the leader in terms of adoption. If a merchant is going to accept any cryptocurrency, it's most likely going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin ATMs are everywhere. Point of sale terminals are increasingly accepting Bitcoin. There is a large and mature market developing around Bitcoin with a wide range of options and derivatives and products and cards and all kinds of stuff focused on Bitcoin. Basically, every wallet also supports Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, of course, very dominant on all cryptocurrency exchanges and has completely unparalleled liquidity. And with three block reward halvings happening in the 2020s, the mining reward will only be slightly above 1 Bitcoin per block in 2030, making Bitcoin wildly scarce on the open markets. Also, this next statement may trigger some people, but personal opinion here, I truly do not believe that any of the Bitcoin forks will maintain any kind of serious relevance in 10 years. While some may continue with, niche communities of enthusiasts who still believe in that project, I do not believe that they will maintain the kind of market dominance that we currently see them doing, and that they will mostly suffer long-term terminal decline of their price and their communities. That being said, Bitcoin also must continue to move forward. It must continue to evolve. It must continue to adapt to an ever-changing world, particularly in technological ways. If it fails to keep up, it will lose some of its dominance. But Bitcoin right now has got so much going for it. And outside of some kind of black swan event, Bitcoin should remain one of the most prominent cryptocurrencies in 10 years, even if it is no longer number one in terms of market cap. So what do you think? Will any of these coins still be here in 10 years? Was there something missing from my list that you think absolutely should have been mentioned? Let me know about it down below. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I know it was a bit of a long video. We had a lot to cover. So I hope it was very, very useful for you. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.